What's up, party people? Your boys, Bizak. Birds of a Feather, free agency frenzy. I can't even talk. Making some news breaking tonight. We just had Eagles sign Greedy Williams.
Greedy!
Making a lot work with making chicken salad out of chicken shit. Howie, let's go.
Oh my God! I'm embarrassed! He's flying! Welcome in. It's almost time.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Birds of a Feather on A2D Radio, brought to you by Baggio's Bread, located in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, home of the best stuffed breads, tomato pie, sandwiches, cutlets, and meatballs. Make sure you mention A2D Radio for 10% off your in-store purchase. We're back. We're live on Facebook, on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and everywhere you download your podcasts. So if you're listening to us live right now or on your commute or on the way to Baggio's Bread, we greatly appreciate your support. It's your boy Chucks. It's OG Pete back again. It's Jake Friel and Mr. PY. How you doing, gentlemen?
Good.
Hanging in there.
Chilling like a villain, boy.
PY,
I'm feeling greedy tonight, boys. I'm feeling greedy.
Come on. You were still pumped for this show.
Oh, I'm ready. Dude, I'm excited. I've been waiting to do the show for 24, excuse my French. Chucks, can I let an F word out?
Yeah, go.
I've been waiting to do this for 24 fucking hours. I didn't go to bed last night until 12 o'clock. I was so jazzed. I DM'd everyone in the chat. I'm just like, I can't go to sleep. I was going to ask Chuck for a bedtime story. Like, I need to talk tonight. I was going to have Chuck's, like, just read me, like, running back scouting reports.
There you go.
I like it. I like the enthusiasm. It's definitely been an exciting week of NFL free agency, and we have a lot to talk about, so we got a packed show for you. First half of the show, we're just going to tackle everything Eagles. All the Eagles moves that we've made. And
we make any moves?
Moves we didn't make, which ended up being a move we made in a way. We'll explain in a little bit. But we'll tackle all the Eagles stuff. Second half of the show, we'll expand and go lead-wise like we usually do. And we'll look at some of the big free agent moves that other teams have made, including the news that broke last Friday, the day after our show, with the Carolina Panthers trading with the Chicago Bears and getting that number 1 overall spot. Since you know we are your best show on this station for everything NFL draft, so we definitely have to talk about that. The implications of that trade are ginormous. That is a great trade for both teams. So we'll dive into it. We'll talk about it. But first, in the first half, like I said, which is brought to us by eXp Realty. If you're looking to buy or sell a home, or if you're looking for a change in career or brokerage, contact Alan Foy of eXp Realty LLC at 302-682-8820 or visit him at alan.foy@exprealty.com. Poll question for tonight, gentlemen. The Eagles made the right decision to keep both James Bradberry and Darius Slay. Agree or disagree? PY, because you were the most excited heading into this tonight's show, I'm going to let you lead it off, bro. So, agree or disagree, do you think it was a good idea that both corners are returning, that we gave both of them the money that they were seeking in a way? Or do you think it was a wrong move to bring both of them back?
It was brilliant. Like, I understand people like Brandon Legout and Howard Eskin want to throw their crap at the wall and see what would stick. Losers like Dan Saleo want to throw shit out there and talk about how Slay sucks and he's on the decline. He's greedy. He wants to get his, blah, blah, blah. No shit. Everyone wants to get theirs. I hate to tell people this. He's 32 years old. He's under every desire to get what he deserves. He's one of the top corners in the NFL. He's top 5 to top 7 corners. Like, he deserved to get paid. I didn't want to pay him what he wanted. He wanted like a real 3-year deal. I'm 100% cool with what they did because they never released him. Howie stayed in contact the entire time. He finessed the situation like he always does. like the young mob boss that I know and love. Like you're basically getting him at a lesser rate, which is going to help us re-sign guys. Please, CJ, please come home. It's basically a 2-year deal, and you're probably going to be able to get out of it very easily. And Bradberry coming back is insane. I can't believe that they were able to convince him to come back. Because what were the 3 guys we said they're out the door? It's CJ, it's Hargraves, and it's Bradberry. You got 2 of the 3 back. I didn't think they were going to be able to convince Slay to come back on a cheaper deal because didn't they save what, $10 million?
They haven't said yet, but they did save cap space.
Yeah,
after the numbers, but they did save.
Not to mention, Bradberry's is basically a 2-year deal as well. Like obviously he signed for 3, but like that last year is basically like you can get rid of him if you need to. Like this is huge. Everyone was dogging us and talking about how it's over, the window's closed. Eagles have fallen apart, Eagles have failed. I want to laugh. The Cowboys thought they had the best secondary 2 times in the span of 24 hours. I'm sorry. It's over. It's us. Great freaking move. God bless you, Howie. Nostrovia.
Jake, what say you, bro?
Yeah, it really kind of started once the Bradberry deal came through. I'm like, I don't think most of us, if any of us, really expected James Bradberry to come back, but I think it tells you a lot about this football team, this organization, when you look at his comments and what he said as far as he's coming back to a familiar defense. He wants to win, and he took a much cheaper deal, which tells you a lot about James Bradberry. I don't know where the money's coming from. We sent a million messages in the talk group trying to figure out what the hell's going on as far as like the financials and all that go. And we still have no clue where Howie's getting money from. I'm not questioning anything, but once the numbers come out, we'll figure it out from there. But I can't be any more happy with bringing Bradberry back and bringing Slay back also. I thought Slay was as good as going along with Bradberry, but somehow Howie managed to bring them both back. And from what I'm hearing, apparently CJ's still on the table, even though we just signed Greedy Williams. I don't know how. I'm not going to ask questions. I'm just going to let it happen.
It's a cheap 1-year deal. That's how.
Yeah,
it might be a 1-year deal for CJ. But to the poll, they absolutely made the right decision. You keep the continuity there. You keep the chemistry there with those 2. So I absolutely agree with the poll.
All right, Mr. OG Pete, you weren't here last week, so I know you got a lot to say. If he's still here, I can't see him anymore.
I'm here, just adjusting my glasses. Give me a second.
So yeah, go ahead.
I agree. All right, so here's what I think happened, right? I think Brandon Graham set the tone. I think there was a talk between the defense in the offseason early, maybe even after the Super Bowl, maybe during those exit meetings, like, listen, we got something here, right? They took a look at the landscape in the NFC and said, we can be right back in this position next year, and the next time we can have a different result. So everybody talks all that, right? Until money gets talked about, and then TJ Edwards bounces. You see what I'm saying? Yep. Hargraves bounces.
Yep.
But once Brandon Graham set the tone, then, like you said, Jake, once they put it to say, all right, he took less money to come back. Mm-hmm. And Brandon Graham said it, and you kind of like, maybe he did, maybe he didn't. No. You know Bradberry, more money was out there for him.
Oh, 100%.
You knew Fletcher Cox, more money was out there for him.
Mm-hmm.
Darius Slay is seeing all that. You got A.J. Brown tweeting about fruit and proteins.
I love him so much.
He don't take medicine. He only eat good vibration foods when he's sick. Mm-hmm. And honestly, kind of to a point, they're doing what I think they're trying to walk this fine line of trying to be contenders, but kind of retool, not make too long of a commitment. He's not trying to make the same mistake he did in 18's offseason.
Right. Yep.
But he realizes probably at that time the NFC was even a stronger conference than what it is now.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest thing is this does kick the can down the road a little bit for Jalen's extension.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
which I think that they probably went to Jalen and they said, like, hey, like, this is what we want to do. How does this feel for you? Obviously, you got the franchise tag. Hopefully, it doesn't come to that. But they realized, like, listen, we got 8 free agents on defense. We got a new defensive coordinator. We can't just field chicken shit. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I understand we could probably put up 35 points a game, but we don't want to be giving up 36. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So with the Cox re-signing, and he may have a bigger role, but I still think it's going to be Milton Williams and Jordan Davis as probably his starters. Not so much the starters, but I just think Cox is going to be on the snap count. But I'm interested to see what they do with Greedy Williams, where he fits in.
I think
we all like to have Chauncey back. We would like to have Chauncey back, but at the same time, Chauncey's going to be the one that's going to cost you the most because he's the youngest one. He's coming into his prime. Would you? I'm gonna be honest with the fan. Would you rather have Chauncey back now, or would you rather draft Brian Branch at 30?
Ooh,
Chauncey
Branch.
Yeah, Branch.
I'm putting it out there. Or I'm gonna even take you through another avenue right now. This definitely is not going to sound sexy, right? But would you take it? Would you take a Harrison Smith as a vet?
Well, he just re-signed, I think.
He just resigned.
Yeah,
I don't want Harrison, but I'm just saying. or you could possibly take a look at John Johnson. If he gets cut from Cleveland too. But with that being said, ultimately, would I rather have Chauncey back? Yeah, I see Tom Marone. Tom is in Florida, I think, still.
Mm-hmm.
Can't
You
relax.
wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. You would.
Yeah, right. You would think he was in Jersey.
You think he was home? Yeah.
But he says he doesn't agree. He'd rather have CJ back. I would too, but at the same time, you knew what you were working with, and you see it's the older guy. I want to say older. I mean, yeah, fuck it, older, right? They're the more established guys that have already seen bigger contracts, right? Guys that have seen that contract. This is Slay's third contract. This is Fletcher's third contract. You know what I mean? This is BG's. I can't even count how many contracts he's had, right? These are guys that already have the money. Like I was watching the New Heights podcast, right? And Jason Kelsey pretty much said, like, this me coming back is like, this is extra money in the bank. Like I already have enough. Like this is just this 14 million, whatever is even on top of that. But this is Chauncey's first. This is coming off his rookie deal. Chauncey's in a different spot. TJ was in a different spot. Kazir was in a different spot from the guys that we were re-signed and we was able to keep. You see what I'm saying? Yep. So it could be could Chauncey come back and they say, listen, we can give you a 2-year deal, kind of, or give you a year deal, front load it, make the cap number low, revisit this next year, and then we can get you yours. Yep. You know what I mean? When we're in a different position. Because once again, like Bradberry said, it's a familiar defense. This is Chauncey's first year playing safety, and look how much his stock went up. Honestly, it almost kind of hurt him a little bit because he just transitioned to safety. Because you would probably think that he would have got as soon as Jesse Bates signed for 4 years, $64 million, whatever. If it was like 40-some-odd mil guaranteed or some shit like that, 30-something mil guaranteed. I was like, okay, that's similar to what Chauncey's going to get. And obviously, you haven't seen that, so the league is kind of telling you what they kind of think of Chauncey, or what he's just not out there getting the right deal. So if you're not out there getting the deal that you want, you might as well go ahead and try to get back what you can when you come home. I'm not saying to take that deal like other people say. I don't give a fuck if a player wants more. I'm not faulting Slay for what he wants. Everybody can try to get that bag. Go ahead, player, get your bag, because when it's all said and done, you're going to have more years on this earth not in the game of football than you have in it.
Right. Yeah.
Amen.
So for everybody out there saying he shouldn't do this, and this, I definitely don't agree with that, because it's such a small window when you look at the grand scheme of their overall life.
Yep.
You know what I mean? This is a very small time frame. So get as much as you can. The Eagles didn't have to give it to him. You see what I'm saying? They didn't have to give him the $23 million guarantee, but they decided to do that. James Bradberry. And the thing is, for Bradberry and Slay, just to echo the poll again, is they played well off each other.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's the key thing. So now you go into the draft.
Chemistry, man.
Obviously, our Christian Gonzalez dream, the pipe dream, is gone.
I'm not there yet.
Our Devin Witherspoon, that dream is just because now you got corners locked up, 2 Pro Bowl corners locked up for the next 2 years, at least. You don't need to address that position in the first round, which almost makes it. I'm so curious as to what are they going to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? The linebackers are pretty much I mean, Levante David went back. Eric Kendricks went to the Chargers. They haven't really addressed the linebacker core.
I
So,
have
I
a
mean, you put a lot of
suggestion.
weight. Huh?
I said I have a suggestion.
Okay, so they have put a lot of weight into Kobe Dean. Is Davion Taylor still on the team?
Yes, technically.
I mean, but you know they're not drafted online. So, I mean, people just fucking get ready.
Yep.
Hopefully at 9. Hopefully at 9, Chicago drafts Paris Johnson or Peter Skrnowski. And then at 10, you just hope that there's another team that comes up to get the other non-tackle in the top. Because I just don't think the tackle position, the offensive line depth is not there. Corner and shit is deep. Running backs, I think, is deep.
Yep.
Wide receivers isn't even as deep as it has been in years past. So maybe you could move back a little bit. But Pete, I'm let Chucks go, and then I'm interested to hear your linebacker suggestion.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna agree to the poll because one, the reason so you guys said a lot of things that I was gonna say, but the two things that stand out to me the most, one, I never wanted Slay to leave in the first place. I think the whole thing about him not being good anymore is way overblown. And to anyone that wants to point out the stat that that's out there that his numbers, the QB QB stats when he was targeted in the second half of the season were really bad in terms of from Slay standpoint. And people want to use that as an argument as to why he's not good anymore. All right, that's fair because compared to the first half of the season, those numbers are so different. So I get that part of it. But this is why stats lie, guys. Because those stats don't include the reps where Slay had good coverage and he wasn't targeted.
Yep.
You're not talking about all the other times where he's in good coverage and they're not going to look his way. So how many times did that happen? They targeted, from what I understand, from what I can remember, I could be wrong, but teams targeted Bradberry more than they targeted Slay. They knew Bradberry was the weaker of the two. So does he not get credit for that? So he's not in his prime anymore, but he's still a very good corner. So I never wanted him to leave in the first place. And the fact that we were able to compromise, give him a contract that really isn't that bad because we can get out of it after the second year. And also it clears up cap space for this year. I'm all for it. Second point, we got James Bradberry for a really good deal. Cheaper than what we expected.
$5 million less per year.
Huh?
I think they got him at least $5 million cheaper.
Yeah, like we were talking about not bringing him back because the price was going to be so his market was going to outprice, right? We were going to be outbid for him. That wasn't the case. We got him for so much cheaper. So of course I'm going to want him back, So those are the main 2 points. Like I absolutely agree to the poll. I think it's a great question. I think it's a great move to bring both of them back. Solidify that because you do not want to go into the draft with a glaring need. You never want to do that. That's what free agency is for. One of the draft analysts that I follow, I forget who it was. This was like a couple years ago, but they put it this way. Going to the draft with glaring holes on your roster is like going to the grocery store starving. You're going to want to grab everything. You know what I mean? Like you're going to get things that you really shouldn't. You're not going to make sound decisions. And that's how you start reaching for players at positions of need instead of
just go for the chocolate
player available. So you gotta take that into account. And I like that we had the stability. Now, would I rather have Chauncey over one of them? Yes. However, until it's off the table that like we can't get Chauncey, then I'm still going to have this opinion. And plus, we don't even know even if we let one of them go, who's to say that that guarantees us getting Chauncey? Like that's not like it's not automatic. It's not like a done deal that we'd be able to re-sign Chauncey.
Mm-hmm.
We have more money too, yeah, but it's still possible we get outbid. So the correlation between the two, I don't think it's easy to automatically assume one or the other. You know what I mean? They're not correlated to each other. So that's how I see it. Now the chat's flying, so
yeah, chat is fine.
Let's answer some questions, boys.
So yeah, so Ted points out the Greedy Williams thing. There's a lot of that's a great signing, by the way. A lot of comments here. I'm not gonna address all of them because they all hit the same point, but people talking about putting him at safety. So we'll revisit that in a bit. Yeah, Dynasty says 4 years later we got Greedy.
So excited about that.
Elliot Petotsky says Greedy to safety. Number 2 guy next to CJ when he signed. Howie ain't drafted a safety high in the draft.
It's not a bad idea.
Rudy Prue says it's so frustrating, this whole CJ.
thing. By the way, he changed his Twitter profile picture again.
Oh my god!
It's just a black. It's just a black screen.
He's just toying with us.
Oh, I know.
Tom says he's gonna disagree to the poll. Would have rather had one in CJ.
Tom should probably stick away from this subject.
Tom, I think we all and Tom would admit it because he has admitted he doesn't like Slay anyways. He never liked him since we traded for him.
No,
so all of his takes are a little skewed. There's a little bit of an agenda talk.
A little bit.
Tom and just a little bit. So, but he would admit that. Yeah. Ted says we still need linebackers. Phantom Media says
you don't say.
He's small for a safety. He's only 182. He has injury history before. Vespi says, I like Greedy. I think it's a good signing, and it's a 1 year, probably prove-it deal if he stays healthy. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. John Castiglione says, "What's up, gents? I agree because a young rookie corner we can bring in and learn behind these guys. Yeah, get a rookie corner, and then there's no pressure to start them right away."
Right.
Jonathan Harvey says, Greedy is not small for a safety, and if he chooses to play safety, adding weight is an option.
Yeah, you can just put on a couple
pounds. He agrees to the poll. He says the Eagles made the right decision. Now they add Greedy, which is he gets a thumbs up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Greedy Williams, it's a 1 year deal for $2 million. SJM, what's going on? He agrees to the poll because if you look at each game, my numbers, Bradberry and Slay were top 8. I thought Slay disappeared at a certain point. When the 3rd and 30 was awful. Still, Slay is at his peak, as is JB. Let me point it out, though. The 3rd and 30 was not his fault. So, just put it out there. That wasn't his fault. That's not on. That was on Scott and the defensive coordinator. So, Jennifer Slay.
He who shall not be named.
Her banana pudding, yes. We'll say that.
Love that pudding, man.
Yeah.
Howie must have had some of that pudding, boy.
Yeah, right? She's making some for Howie right now.
Boy.
I'd be so jealous.
John says, round robin, give me who you want the Eagles to draft at the 10th pick.
Ooh.
Let's revisit that.
We'll revisit that in the second half.
I'm going to put that down.
I need to think about that one, actually.
I don't need to think about it at all.
Yeah, I have my guy. Right.
Okay.
Let's see. Martian says, I'm not drafting Jalen Carter at 10.
Okay. You're an idiot. Move on.
Let's get to that. So
we'll no. Hold on. Wait, before you do that, I want to hear Pete's suggestion. But real quick, I actually think the best signing so far is the Rashaad Penny signing.
I agree.
Yes.
If he is healthy,
if he plays a full 17, yeah.
My God.
What was because I'll have to look this up later. Because I don't follow Seattle. I don't really give a crap what they are and what they do. Like, where would you rank their O-line in like the last 3 or 4 years?
So last year, it was a lot better, but the one tackle did struggle a little bit toward the end of the year.
It's been nowhere near ours.
No.
Okay.
Nowhere near.
No, I was asking, like, is it the middle of the pack? Is it below?
I'd say roughly middle or right below. middle.
Right.
I remember when Russ was on the way out. It was
It
struggling.
was bad.
It was
But
really,
last year
it was really
better.
bad.
The struggle
Last year
bus.
it was better. Last year it was better. So
Yeah, it was much better last year.
Yeah.
But, and then Pete, who was your suggestion for linebacker?
All right, so I have an outside perspective because I follow the Browns as well. It's a little bit hard to follow them right now just because of their quarterback. But there is a guy from Cleveland that I love. I think he would be perfect. Anthony Walker Jr.
Oh,
Okay.
He was one of their captains last year. He was a captain in Indianapolis. He taught their young linebackers everything he needs to know. For reference, these are between him and Kaiser White, Pro Football Focus grades. Kaiser had like a 65. Walker had like an 82.7. He's a little older, but he's not like Fletch old. Like he brings experience and toughness, and he's just a smart football player.
Mhm.
And for a new defensive coordinator, that's what you need. You need a smart captain who's going to be able to control that linebacker room. And as of right now, your linebacker room as of right now is Nakobe Dean and that random dude from LSU and the other speedy linebacker they drafted last year in like the 6th round, whose name is No, I was talking about the Eagles.
Davion Taylor?
Well, not Taylor, Johnson.
Oh,
yeah, but
Yeah.
he's more of a pass rusher though.
Yeah, he's more of a pass rusher.
Yeah, he's a
No, I mean, I can see Walker, and I can see Ryan Stokes chiming in. Like telling him a couple times with the corners. I just think from this signing with the greedy Bradberry bringing Slay back, you can now do more on the back end to where you don't have you shouldn't have to rely on your pass rush all the time, because I honestly think that they know going into this offseason, like that pass rush and that success that we had, that can't be duplicated.
Mm-hmm.
So we had our defense now outside of personnel. The way we play our defense is going to have to just look different.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I think you can be more effective, but not like I don't think you're going to get like the 70 sacks, but I think you can be a better defense than you were last year.
Yeah.
Even if the numbers don't show it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the second time I've heard of Sean Bradley's name.
Yeah, like who the hell is Sean Bradley? Like he's a special teams guy.
Ryan says is Greedy Williams more man-to-man or zone? He's more man-to-man.
Yeah, more man-to-man.
More man-to-man. I'm trying to get through some of these.
He's my man. He's Jake's man.
He's SJM says no. I don't want Christian Gonzalez anyway.
Okay.
He says Howie's grabbing Skoronski.
No, he's not.
Probably Jalen Carter or trading back.
Yeah.
I don't know how he figured out the cap. He will draft Trenches. I said Skoronski a couple weeks ago.
You did.
All you guys were so mad. Like,
You did.
I don't see it.
I see it all day.
I see it, but like if Lane Johnson was a little bit older, I'd be like, all right, cool. This makes perfect sense. He can sit for a few years.
Well,
I think Lane Johnson can play at an elite level for another 3 to 5 years.
No,
But I don't think
he already said he has
questions
1 to 2
about
years left.
Skornowski playing tackle.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
His arms are short, which I don't. I mean, listen.
that's the question. I think though, like, okay, so some scouts have projected him that he would be better and more suited for guard, but if you have someone who can play tackle, has experience playing tackle, you want to try them there first.
Yep.
That's the ideal. You want to try them at the more premium position. And with Stoutland, if there's anything that he can do to make up for the lack of arm length, Stoutland's going to help him in that department.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why, like, you draft him and then see. Like, looking at the other players that are potentially would be there at 10, I would not draft Skoronski or I would not draft Kyler Jones. That's me. But my whole point a couple weeks ago was you could absolutely see Howie Roseman doing it. But don't be surprised. But
like, do I think he could draft a tackle? Yeah, like it's in Howie's wheelhouse. But I just think the way the board is following and our needs, I just don't see them wasting a pick on a lineman when he's gonna not play for 3 or 4 years.
Well, the only caveat to that, Pete, is if they draft a lineman, they never waste it. And Jake shares this a lot. when we had the New Heights podcast, and they had Daniel Jeremiah on there, and he had that one clip where he talked about like, I have a grade, a fifth or sixth round grade on this lineman, and then we see the Colts draft the lineman in the third round. It's like, oh fuck, like he's on to Howard Mudd. Is it going to be a Hall of Famer? It's going to start he's going to be a starter for the next 8 to 10 years. I think that's us. I think that's Jeff Stout on that. I think he has that type of cachet around the league that where everybody knows if we're drafting a lineman, your fucking scouts miss something.
Right.
Yep. You see what I'm saying? Like your scouts miss something. Your personnel department missed something. There's no way we just let go of a 14th overall pick in the first round and on a second contract with a kid that never played football before, was a rugby player, is now one of the better half of the tackles in the league. You know what I mean? So you can just turn it into, so it's different. But yeah, that's just my thought on it. That's why, from that standpoint, I get it. If you have a stud, you have a stud. But I think they can find diamonds in the roughs. You know, if you're an offensive lineman and you're a day 3 pick, you want to come here if you're an offensive lineman, because look, when's the last time we drafted a lineman, right?
1970.
That ultimately, if you started for us at any point or were within the top 7 of the rotation, you didn't get a second contract.
Andre Dillard.
I mean, but he got one. I'm saying he got, not from us.
Not with us.
I'm just talking about around the league. I'm talking about around. Did Isaac sign yet anywhere?
No, he's still out there.
I mean, he ultimately will, but he's probably looking at more money than he's going to get a second contract. It's just whatever's out there for him. Mm-hmm. But you look at Halapuli Lete Vatak. I don't know if his name is
Big V. Big V.
Andre Dillard. You look. I'm trying to think of somebody else. Another lineman that left here that got signed. But even when our linemen get like released, Tobin got picked up for the Colts like immediately. Mm-hmm. Immediately.
What's his name? Signed with the Steelers. Nate Herbig. He just signed with the Steelers.
So I mean, it's like you want that. You want to be in that environment. Like we sit here, we talk about the Steelers, right? Linebackers, wide receivers. The Steelers somehow seem to find them at all times.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All times.
Yeah, that's. I was gonna say
wide receiver.
When the Steelers draft the wide receiver, that's another thing. Like that's when you know it's like, oh crap, like this guy's gonna be a star. I
would literally just call up the Steelers like a week before the draft. It's like, hey, what wide receivers do you like? Just curiosity. Just give me your top 5.
Yeah.
You don't need to tell me where you draft them. Just tell me your top 5.
Adjust your board after that. Let's see. Some running back talk. So let's get into, because you, Pete, you talked about the Rashaad Penny signing. SJM talks about here. Most yards after contact with any running back with 150 carries. If he's healthy, he will get paid next year. That's why he came here. Ryan Schultz says, the Eagles need a veteran running back who is a great runner and pass catcher. Gainwell could be that because he was great at that in college. But the Eagles haven't used him that way. They need a veteran who is that. They lack that. Let's see. Sean Kilren says, I see Penny being used like Blunt when we signed him. Trying to see if there's any other stuff. I'll keep going for the chat. Jake, if you want to take over. But when it comes to Penny, honestly, I love the signing. When I thought it was going to be more than what he signed for. It's a 1 year, $1.3 million. That's nothing. That's nothing. I assumed it was going to be 1 year. I thought it was going to be like a few $1 million, but it's practically nothing. What's his name? Ryan's comment here. I don't know what the point is for you being a veteran running back who's a great runner and pass catcher when we already have one on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no point in that. Like, you don't need a veteran running back who's a dual threat because you have Scott and you have Gainwell.
Right.
Gainwell is already a great receiver. We see that in Memphis. The people need to get this in their heads, okay? And I've repeated myself for 2 weeks. The Eagles don't use the running backs like that in the passing game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we do so much RPO. We do so much read. Like, that's just not how they do it.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to keep in mind that all of these dual threat running backs, these pass catching running backs, I love them. They're great. The Austin Eckler's of the world. Last year it was Christian McCaffrey. This year in the draft, people talking about Gibbs and all that. Like, they're awesome. They're great. I love dual threat running backs. They don't fit here, guys. They don't fit this system. They're just not going to. And I know Brian Johnson is the OC, but Brian Johnson does not make the playbook. It's Sirianni's playbook, and it goes off of Jalen Hurts. So all these pass catching running backs, they're not going to be the focal point at any point of any pass. You're not going to design pass plays for them. Not when you have AJ Brown, not when you have Devontae Smith, and not when you have Dallas Goedert. Like, all your pass plays should be designed for those three primarily. You're not going to design pass plays for your running backs. And you need your running backs behind center, or not behind center, but in the backfield on those zone reads and RPOs. That's it. Like, all the passes to our running backs came on check downs and dump offs. All right. There were no running back screens. There was no designed wheel routes or anything like the angle routes where they were the primary receiver. They were just the check downs. So you have to, like, that's the worry. Now, would I hate it if we got another great dual threat running back? No, I wouldn't hate it. I'd love it. No. But I'm just being realistic in terms of what we need and what type of running back you should expect the Eagles to bring in. Now, the Penny signing, I love. Okay. And my friend on Twitter, he said something funny about it. He's like, I don't think I've seen anybody mention the Penny signing without the disclaimer of if he's healthy. Right. Which is really funny because that's the truth. Like,
you can't hide away from that.
All of this is dependent on his health, and he hasn't been healthy at all. No. And so it's really a big if, and it's something that, like, I really hope he stays healthy, but you can't bank on it. You know what I mean? No. So that's kind of why like you see all these deals, and that's why probably we got him so cheap, because he's always been hurt, and so like it's almost like a foregone conclusion, like he's going to get hurt. It's like,
well, what if he doesn't?
There are true like injury-prone players in this league. He's one of them. Sean Lee was another. Like, guys that just can't stay healthy. They truly can't stay healthy. However, if by some God-given miracle he does stay healthy, he's going to lead the league in rushing. He's in the top 3 in rushing. He's going to go off because he's such a good runner. Very, 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 very.
That's a big guy.
And that's a big guy who can.
I didn't realize how big he was.
Huge. Yeah, he's huge.
He's huge and he's fast. You don't see that often. Yeah, he is big. He's a thick boy.
Well, and I was saying in our, what do you call it, our Birds of a Feather group chat, I think and I think Chuck's agree with this too, I forget, but I think Nick Sirianni, as far as running backs go, this is the style of running back he wants. He wants that big, physical.
Look at what he had with Jonathan Taylor.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. He wants the big body, physical, not as much of like a Miles type of running back. Even Kenny's a bigger guy for his size, but that's the type of running back I think that Nick Sirianni wants in this system.
I don't think he hit Miles Sanders, but like I think he hated that style of play because that's just not what he likes. Like I think he likes just uphill. You know what I mean? Like Miles was a great running back. I just don't know if his style fit with Sirianni's style.
I do want to see him in an outside zone running scheme. Like I want to see him. I want to see what he would do. I'm not saying Miles would be good in that scheme, but I just want to see. I'm curious. Because that scheme, like it requires you to see and anticipate and see the lanes, but then you're pressing the outside. So like I'd be curious to see how it is. But we'll talk about where he went with the Panthers in the second half. But yeah, it's
I think when we think about the running backs, the one thing I think that we can expand on is the fact of, yes, while we may not design pass plays for the running backs, I think we kind of talked about this. One of the reasons why we didn't hoist the Lombardi Trophy is the check downs need to start. We need to start incorporating those within the system, where Jalen needs to start looking for those check downs, those outlets, because if the back is in the backfield and the pressure gets there, or whatever reason is off schedule, not to be afraid to check it down and take advantage of that. So maybe once they start incorporating that, or they start incorporating hot routes, however you want to enunciate it, for the blitzes to kind of just get that beat there. We'll see. You know what I mean? It's one of those things to where it's no Jonathan Taylor was his own beast. You feel what I'm saying?
He's a dog.
Marlon Mack was kind of shiftier, Jonathan Taylor faster, but not say even faster, but this wasn't as big. But even when Sirianni was there and he had Marlon Mack, it's just, you just go look at that Indiana run scheme, and then Miles just didn't necessarily fit that. Gainwell is more of a Naheem Hines-ish to me. So we still don't have, like, Sirianni still doesn't have his Jonathan Taylor. I mean, could he have it in Penny? It's all dependent if he can stay healthy.
Yep. Yeah.
It all depends if they can keep him upright and he can stay healthy. May have found it, because you may have found it. It's just I said this when he was coming out. I said, for such a big dude up top, them legs are small.
Yep.
Them legs are small.
Thighs,
the legs is small. So we'll see, man.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, he can, like I said, he's got juice though. Like he can scoot. He's fast. And that's why he's so good. He has so many explosive runs, because he can move. He has the extra gear. So I do like that about him, that he's big, but he's not slow. So it's hard to it's not common you get that combination. Now, Ro G says that is why we need him. He can block, run, catch, and he fits our system. I don't know if you're talking about Penny specifically, but yes, you are. I got into a little bit of back and forth with someone on Twitter about this. So, from what I've studied, Penny is not a great pass blocker. Now, there are numbers out there that on social media, on Twitter, that shows pass block win rates, and apparently Penny is ranked really high. However, those stats also show that Saquon Barkley is ranked really high, but Saquon Barkley was horrible in pass protection. So when I see that, I'm like, something is not right. I could be wrong. Maybe I hadn't catch all of the reps where Penny was in pass pro. Maybe I didn't catch, I missed something in the pass protection scheme. So I could be wrong. I want to go back and rewatch. But this whole notion, if you see the numbers, the notion that he's a really good pass blocker, I'm refuting. Like I don't agree with that right now, because that's not what I've seen on film. He was horrible coming out the draft. He was really bad in that department. He's gotten better at it, but he's still it's not a strong suit of him from what I've seen. And
I found what you're referring to, Chucks.
Yeah.
It's from DeBird's blog.
Yeah.
Rashaad Penny had 62 pass blocking snaps in his career. He allowed pressure on 5 of them. That's a good pressure rate allowed of 8%. Here's how other Philadelphia running backs stacked up. Miles Sanders, 10.4, Gainwell, 12.7, and Scott, 10.9.
Yeah. So those are the numbers that were put up. However, again, like I said, they had Saquon Barkley as the best pass blocking running back in the league with the highest rate, with the highest win rate in pass pro.
Yep.
He's he's not good at pass pro. So something is
there is somebody out there that is good at pass pro.
Something is, I'm not going to say it because someone's going to scoff at it, but
is it Trey Sermon?
All I'm saying is I'm eager to see what Penny can bring. Because, do I think that he's better than the guys we have now? I think probably so, because I think mainly because of his size. He's a big dude. So, obviously, as long as he can get in the way, he's going to be able to, I think on. People
are just going to like him because he's a power.
The problem is him being able to pick up blitzes, knowing where they're coming from. That's a whole other part of it. So getting in the way is one thing. Knowing where to go is probably the most important part. Your blitz pickup, blitz awareness is very important. So that's what he's lacked. So I think that, you see those numbers, take it from me. I think there's something wrong with those numbers are inaccurate. Also, if he was so great at pass pro, then why do the Seahawks always put someone else in pass pro ahead of him?
Mm-hmm.
They always
I will say DJ Dallas and Travis Homer were better. I'm just
and
but you can't
yeah.
be a number one running back if you lead off with your. I mean, it's really only been one. One running back in the last 7 years that's been really good at pass pro and can still be a number one running back. And technically right now he's a free agent. I'm just going to leave it at
that. Okay. Okay.
You can say the name.
Yeah, I know where you're going.
Listen, I'm not bullshitting when I said sign him. When I said sign him, I was dead serious.
Oh, Zeke?
Yes. But I've always liked Zeke, even coming out of
I've hated him from the second he's come in the league.
But when it comes to pass protection,
he's so good.
There's another free agent. There's another free agent running back who's really good in pass pro.
I'm surprised he's still a free agent, bro.
So am I, actually.
He had a really shitty year last year.
Yeah, he had a really down year last year. Really down year.
So the Deshaun Watson effect.
Cleveland Browns.
Don says Zeke bigger than Jalen Carter.
I'm like, yo, look at Don. Look at Sidney Brown. Hell yeah.
We're already past you, Don.
He said Chase Brown earlier. He wants the Lions to draft Chase Brown.
You have to follow me because I've been on the for now like over a week. I've been saying, yo, just draft the Brown twins. Just draft both of them. Second round.
I already told my buddy at work to start following Chucks.
What's that, man?
I told my buddy at work because he's a big Eagles fan, so we're always talking about like what's going on.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, what do you think of Rashaad Penny?" I say, "You should go listen to my boy Chucks. He's a huge running back nerd, and any question you need to know about Rashaad Penny, he will answer for you." He's a great follow.
And to Derek's question, they're not done at running back. They're not just going to stick with Rashaad Penny. They're not done.
Exactly. We're going to trade for Derrick Henry.
That deal shows you that.
Yeah, they're not.
All right, this is like our home run if we hit, but guess what?
So we're going to carry 4 running backs, which is fine with me. I don't care. We'll end up drafting a kid, whoever that might be.
Look at Don trying to steal my guy. He says, "I hope the Lions get Chase Brown." Don, that's my guy.
You got David Montgomery. Shut up.
Don's still a little upset that the Lions don't want Lamar Jackson.
I'm upset they didn't re-sign Jamal Williams. That's what I'm upset about.
All right, guys. The other Eagles signings. I mean, we all predicted. We all kind of knew BG was coming back.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't need to talk about that.
No.
What's your opinion on the Cox signing?
I don't like it, but if the actual cap is low as shit, I don't care.
I mean, again, you talk about continuity and a guy that's been here before. He's a captain. He's a leader on this defense. And again, it tells you a lot about Fletch that he took a lot less money because he apparently had a deal almost done with the Jets before he decided to come back. And it's depth. You can never go wrong with that.
Putting Williams side by side.
Oh my god!
If he is like Brandon's been the last 2 years, I'm cool with it. Where he's a depth guy, where he's like a Vinny Curry type of guy, where it's limited snaps and he's not starting.
Yeah, he's starting.
And Jordan Davis and Milton Williams are getting their time. I'm completely cool with it.
No, you're paying him $10 million. He's starting.
See, here's the thing. Here's a caveat to that, PY. You have to look at these couple things like, okay, outside of TJ, right, and outside of Hargraves, they didn't really have. I mean, it's really TJ is the most fascinating thing. Like, I don't know why they didn't even offer. I mean,
I'll give you 2 reasons. Are you ready? It's called N'Kobe and then Dean. There you go.
Well, no, it's they don't value off.
Play them next to each other. It's just the fact that TJ really came from nowhere, make himself one of the better linebackers in the league, and homegrown, truly homegrown. And you just, but no, so you don't have anything else outside of Fletcher Cox. You don't want to draft a rookie, and I actually like it outside of the money because of the fact that you have, honestly, right now, 4 lifetime Eagles who will probably never wear another team's uniform. And Lane, Kelsey, Graham, and now Cox.
I disagree on Cox. I think
maybe you know what? Maybe you're right because of the fact that he can kind of just play anywhere. But I'm just talking about the way that they want to stay. They want to be a part of the culture. You know what I mean? They want and they love this team. Obviously, this team pays them money, so it's a quid pro quo. But they have unfinished business, man. And when you set that tone, it's just different. And that's why I said, like, I don't know. I think it's going to get to the point with Chauncey. He's just like, yo, I don't know who his agent is, but like, what are we doing?
So we're heading into day 5 of free agency. Obviously, it's day 3 of official free agency. Mm-hmm. But by the time free agency starts on Wednesday, you basically, for the most part, the big guys know where they're going. And so for day 5, if he's still not signed, I don't think the market is there for him. Mm-hmm. I don't think the market he expected is there for him. I can't believe I'm going to say this. I think Howard Eskin might have been right to where the fact that he switched to safety and some teams might not know where to view him. It's like, is he a nickel? Is he a safety? Mm-hmm. Do I want to pay him as a safety? Do I want to pay him as a nickel? Can I pay him as a Jesse Bates type of guy? And I think that's tanking his value right now. Like, obviously, he had a phenomenal year last year. Like, it was a Pro Bowl caliber year. Like, that was like an all-pro safety type of year. But I think the smartest thing for him was be kind of like Jake said, like, take a 2-year deal. Or worst case scenario, have an Alshon Jeffrey year where you get a high number, you play it out, you ball out, and then you get that nice extension.
Yep.
Excuse me, we have the Great White Hope. It is. It's a Great White Hope. Okay, I saw you disrespecting him on Twitter. And did you ask for the Lord's forgiveness, Chucks?
Hell no.
I'm sorry. It's not fair that Harrison Smith is gone
this is what I'm gonna say. So for Reed, in all seriousness, I like Reed Blankenship. I think it was a good pickup. Mm-hmm. I thought he was definitely decent. What he had to
better than Marcus Epps.
So I liked what he brought. Would I feel confident enough in him to say, okay, you should be one of the starters going into next season or this season? No. Like, I am not that confident in him where I'm just going to assume he's going to be the starter. I can't do that.
Disrespect.
If he competes and he develops and wins a starting job, I am all for it. So, like, I want him to be on the team. I want him to be part of this rotation, But in no way am I saying, oh, we're set at one safety spot because we have Reed Blankenship. Like, that's to me, that's not how you approach it. Like, even with Epps, who was solid this past year, right?
Was he?
We didn't just give him the starting job the year before, like he
bought out training camp.
He did.
Yeah, he earned it, and this was 2 years ago. Not last year. Last year he already had earned it, but the year before with him and Anthony Harris, like, he was competing. And remember, we even signed DeQuasky Tart.
Mm-hmm.
So
yep. That was shocking.
Epps competed and earned it. He developed. It took him a couple years, but he developed. I would hope Reed does that, but going into his second year, based on what we've seen so far, no. To me, you can't go into that confident.
Speaking of development, why haven't we developed a Great White Hope A2D T-shirt? I'm just throwing it out there.
Great
White Hope. I don't even know who's doing our merch right now. And that's the God's honest truth.
I need a Great White Hope T-shirt. I rock that every week.
So, all right. So before we head over to the second half and talk about the NFL as a whole, let's revisit this question real quick.
Where is John's question?
We're here.
Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
Who do we think now, just right now, knowing what we know, who do we think the Eagles will draft at 10?
Who do you want them to draft at 10 first? Because you and PY both already have your guy.
We're there.
I know who I want. I personally know who I want, but I'm gonna let other people go.
Oh, you scumbag!
Fine, you want me to say it?
Yes.
I forget. I want Brian Branch.
Okay, I like that.
10?
Huh?
You're on drugs.
I went Brian Branch at 10.
You're insane.
Wow.
I was already in my head like
Wow.
when I looked at him like a couple weeks ago.
That's like the overdraft of all.
I love Brian Branch too. I just feel like that's high.
When I looked at it,
That's like 20 spots too high, too low.
I actually wouldn't mind.
I wouldn't mind
he
it.
could also play corner and safety.
If they drafted Brian Branch at 30,
Oh, so you're telling me
I'd
he's
be
another
doing
Malcolm.
backflips.
Yeah, he can play corner and safety. So like
All right,
so
then, there
that's the thing about him. He's not just like a lot of places have him listed as DB because he plays
can't.
both.
You can
So-
play
If you're
corner
taking
and-
him at 10.
Yeah, I personally,
I'm fine with that. If that's the case,
I
I'm
personally,
fine with that.
some people will think it's a reach. I get it.
It's the
but
major reach.
I don't think it's a reach. Where
is
was he
funny.
ranked on Brugler? He did his top 50 big board, and I think Branch was ranked number 14. So, I mean, we dropped 10. It's not that bad a reach if you're going by his board.
Right.
I don't have a big board. I don't do a big board with all the positions. That's too much for me. I don't have the time for that. But
All right.
I personally think I would be good with Brian Branch at 10.
Okay.
I like him.
Anyone else wants to go? That's my
So that's who you want.
That's who I want.
So who do you think they'll take at 10 then?
Who do I think they'll take?
Yeah.
I think they're going to take one of the edges.
So do
Whoever's
I.
available.
Okay. Or a D tackle. That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah. I think they'll take a defensive lineman.
So who I think they'll take, and this would be one of the most Eagles moves ever, it would not shock me if they get a little cute and go Kalijah Cansey at 10.
That would be really good.
It would not shock me at all if they go Kalijah Cansey.
So
Who I want, if he's there, I'd go Miles Murphy at 10.
that's a solid one. I can't.
That's
fault
where
them.
I'd go.
Well, that was my thing at the start of this draft at the beginning. If you get any of the three, you had a good top 10 pick.
Yeah.
Miles Murphy, Will Anderson, Jalen Carter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, Rick, with his pro day kind of, his pro day skewed a lot of things for me. Like
I think that in terms of
Don't overthink
at
it.
10, I think at 10 it's too rich.
No.
I think that if we were to trade back closer to around the 20s and he was there, I think that's where I'd be comfortable taking the risk.
Yeah.
But at 10, there are too many other players I think are safer and more worth the risk than Jalen Carter. That's just me. Like
Risk it for the biscuit, boys.
I don't know. I mean, again, you're talking about potential, but there's a lot of there's off the field stuff, and now he didn't. Again, it could be part of all the legal stuff happening, but he gained 9 pounds. He couldn't finish his pro day, which is a problem. And that's just how scouts and other teams are going to look at it. Be like, all right, how much does this guy actually want to be great? How much does he actually commit to the sport? Or is he just taking his ability for granted, like some players tend to? But Ray, yes, we do.
Shush you.
We do need edge. And no, I wasn't saying we're going to take him at 10. I'm saying what I could see the Eagles doing, because that's just one of the most Eagles moves of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah, even Martin. It's a typical Howie move. It's a real Howie
Imagine
move.
having him and Jordan Davis next to each other. Oh my god!
Oh, he's a freak. Don't get me wrong. Cansey's a freak, but 6'1" at defensive tackle. I don't know.
So Ray says Reddick and Sweat have the edge covered. I get it. I love
Still need pass rush. You
need depth.
more guys.
You could absolutely use more pass rushers.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Your guys right now are Reddick and Sweat. That's it.
And
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah. If one of them gets hurt, what
You're
happens?
screwed.
You can never have too many defensive linemen. Same thing with offensive linemen. You can never have too many. There's no such thing as too many.
Pete, did you give yours already?
Nope, not yet.
Come on, guys. Come on. Come on. You guys haven't done your homework, have you?
I already have my guys picked out. I'm sorry.
Next week we start doing rankings for these draft prospects.
Ooh.
You guys better do your homework. I'm giving
Sure.
you.
I've been researching prospects since October. Okay, I'm good.
Okay.
Well, no. So, like when I say who I want at 10, I go back and forth because you know me. I'm always thinking about how the board is going to play out.
Yeah.
Ideally, I do not want to pick at 10. That's me.
So you want them to trade back?
I am all about the trade back.
Okay.
Trade back and then get Brian Branch, and then everyone's happy.
I'm hoping that we can trade back and get into like 14.
15,
Hopefully,
yeah.
maybe if the Patriots feel as if one of the tackles is gone, maybe they want to move up and get Skarnowski. I think they pick it 14.
The perfect scenario to me is the
14 or 15 or something like that.
I think the Bucks are the perfect scenario.
But I like the name Darius Genesis says, and Darius Genesis said it, and it hasn't been talked about a lot. I do like him.
Who?
I think it's Brian Breeze, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I actually like
him
Brian
too.
Breeze.
I like him
Brian
too.
Breeze as well. I would listen because tell you. Sorry, Linda, you're the only female I see in here. Just like these white girls is built different now.
That's a bad white boy.
These white boys built different. You go ahead and give me some LVN, baby. Give me some LVN at like 15.
Lucas Van Ness. I love Lucas Van Ness.
I want a swaggy white boy. Ooh.
You know what I mean? It's one of those things. Like PY makes a valid point. You need some edge. I understand Josh Sweat and Reddick got the edge covered, but at the same time, you need that rotation. And where do they want this at? They want it in the trenches.
Mm-hmm.
Will we love it to be a sexy pick? Will we love it to be Bijan? Yeah.
That'd be great. If we go all in, man. Offense wins championships.
If they do that, that's honestly not at 10, but if they do that and they trade back, that's honestly Sirianni going to Howie and like, look,
go get him, go get him, go get him.
That's my Jonathan Taylor, bro.
Yeah.
That's my Jonathan Taylor.
And Howie would say, go sit down.
Martin, not a 10. I think if I trade it back, I have no issue with Van Ness.
Well, listen, if they take Bijan at 10, the whole world's burning down because it's just going to be.
I would never be able. I would never do. I'll be honest with you. If they pick at 10, I would never be able to talk draft ever again. I would, for the rest of the off season, anytime we were talking draft picks, I would just be quiet because what the fuck? Excuse my French. What am I gonna say? Like what?
Yeah.
What inside?
I'm not gonna be mad about it.
Well, it's not even the fact that I'm not gonna be mad, but like. My whole world is based on two things.
That's a lie.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
No,
exactly.
I know two things about the Philadelphia Eagles. They haven't drafted a linebacker since 1979, and I can't even remember the last time. When was the last time they drafted a safety in the first round? Have they ever drafted a safety in the first round?
That's a good question.
A safety in the I don't.
I guess three things, and they don't draft running backs in the first round. There you go.
Yeah.
At 10, I would have no idea. Pete, what do you think?
I will say this. Drafting Bijan at 10 would be unheard of. It would hell would freeze over.
It'd be so fun.
As I told people in the group chat,
it would be such a logically, it would be such the wrong move.
Yep.
It would be the bad. I am the running back guy. I do not want Bijan at 10.
Right.
However,
not because of talent.
If we do draft him at 10,
they're going all in.
My head is going to be so mad, but you will see me celebrating.
If we draft Bijan at 10, as I told everyone in the group, I'm going to donate $100 to a charity of the group's choosing.
Okay.
I'm that serious. If we pick him at 10, I said that's like $100 out of my pocket. I'll gladly put it up.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be saying. I am so happy and mad at the same time. I've never had these mix of emotions ever.
The Chuck Moran fund.
You're talking about like 35 plus points a game if that happens.
More.
More.
Behind this line?
You're talking about closer to. I think you probably.
I'm just trying to imagine.
Your running back room is Bijan Robinson,
Rashaad Penny,
Kenny Gainwell, and Boston Scott. Like, are you serious? That is a fun room.
Like, I just don't know how you like. I'm gonna be Tom. I'll look at the schedule. I'll be like, I can't find a loss. I can't find anyone to stop this offense.
Dub.
Yeah. So Mark
I think it's already close to that now with Penny because teams have to prepare 100%. Like he's going to be healthy.
Martian asks, would my celebration be better than the regular pick celebration? My celebration for Bijan would make the regular pick celebration look like timid. I would look timid compared to that. I'd probably be jumping on my bed back here. Like up and down.
Chucks would be ripping off his shirt like that one dude in Mean Girls.
Castellanos said, "I'll match
Don't
him." on
match me up.
There we go.
There we go. Exactly. Like serious. I'm dead serious. Like we can spread this out. Like
Yeah, it's not
I'm
happening.
that like
No, it's not happening.
It's not happening. It's not happening.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's hard to find a positional value there, man. You just don't want to make a pick for the sake of making a pick. But
I'll let Chuck's name my firstborn. Like that's how unlikely this is happening. Like Chuck's gonna name my first child. Okay, like
where is it out here? Elliot Patowski. He's mentioned the name Tristan McCullum a couple times to the point where I had to go. I think it's a cornerback that we have in our future reserves. I mean, it's
a future reserve.
He's 6'3", it's 6'3", 195. So he's big body, but I mean, you got to get through. You got to get through Reed first.
Yeah.
Rick Galone is one of the only ones that remembers my game no reaction.
I love that video.
The game no reaction is awesome, and like I've had the people. I don't know why people don't remember my Miles reaction too. Yeah. Like maybe because you couldn't see me because I was.
That's exactly why. That's exactly why.
It was just me running up and down the parking lot for a good minute, just saying, "We got Sanders, we got Sanders." So yeah,
I just got to see if I'm going to be 3 for 3 this year.
Yeah.
Oh no!
One of them will be there in the third round. I don't think both of them will be there in the third round.
Adewale, I don't think will make it to the third round.
I had Rager, Smith, Jordan Davis, and let's see if I can go 4 for 4. I want Jalen Carter more than I need sex, more than I need air, more than anything. I need Jalen Carter.
Jesus Christ!
Why do you give Don so much material?
Look, I am the loose cannon cop who walks the edge, and Chuck's is my superior that tells me, "God damn it, Pete, you're out of line, but you get results." And I'm okay with that. I am okay with being the McVane of Birds of a Feather.
Oh,
Don said, he gonna die.
You're gonna die. If you're gonna go, if you gotta go, you gotta go.
Like I said, the ideal scenario, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. The ideal scenario is 4 quarterbacks go on the top.
Yes.
8.
Yeah,
no doubt.
To push talent down.
Mm-hmm.
So, but now some of that talent before was Devin Witherspoon and Christian Gonzalez.
And now we don't
now what do you do at that point if there's hopefully somebody behind you realizes, okay, maybe now this is our time to make a move and move up? Because I mean, let's face it, you have two all-pro, and it's not like you have Slay and Bradberry on 1-year deals. You have them now solidified for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So this year, next year. So I mean, you can't. I don't know. It's almost like you have strengths. Really, you have strengths in the trenches, or definitely in the offensive line. A little older. Hence why, I mean, could you really? By God, if the fucking Bears take Skarnowski at 9 and Paris Johnson is on the board at 10, they can't not.
So I think
you can't. Like you have to put Paris Johnson at that point because I don't know where you put him at. But you just can't, not take, because I mean,
I don't know where you'd put him, but
but now also at the same time, if Paris Johnson is on the board at 10, you probably can get
trade back. You can probably
a lot to trade back, a decent amount to trade back.
Well, just given the position that we're in, we're at 10, so you're going to have people calling Howie.
Oh yeah,
Howie's going to have phone calls regardless of.
He won't.
As long as the 4 quarterbacks go before our pick, we'll be getting plenty of.
Did the Saints trade happen the day of or the before?
Before
March and 8, I think. So if we're gonna be making any trades prior, it's either gonna be March or April. Those are the only time. Early April.
I mean, could you see a trade for 10?
I could.
With Howie, anything's possible.
Yeah.
So this is who I think they actually take. Because obviously I love Jalen Carter. I think it's Nolan Smith.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay. That's an interesting one.
Has the bend. He's a big guy, and he's fast.
He's fast, yep. I don't hate
And he's from Georgia. Howie loves the SEC now.
Well, and you know what, too? He's on that right side, so he complements Reddick really well. So that would make a lot of sense.
Not to mention he's played with Dean, and he's played with Davis.
I like Nolan Smith.
I can absolutely see.
Not a 10, but I
here's-
like Nolan Smith.
I'd take him a 10. I have zero issues.
So here's the last question before we switch it over to the NFL.
What's up, Ricky?
Just face value, like I know we don't know who's available and how it goes out, but just as is, would you rather trade back from 10 into the teens area, or would you rather trade back from 30 and into the
Trade back or trade up?
Trade back. Like, which position would you rather trade back from to gain more picks in this draft? Would you rather trade back from 10 into the teens area and get someone there, that value, or would you rather trade back?
Oh,
from
30.
30, because you can get. I think you can get more into next year's draft.
Not even just that, 30, because at 30, if I'm trading back from, if I'm staying at 10, I'm getting a stud.
Yeah.
At some point, you hope.
Like if you're drafting at 10, you need a blue chip player, plain and simple.
Like
It
even
has
if
to be
you
a blue
go,
chip
like
player.
let's say you go from 10 to 14 or 10 to 15, you're guaranteed a blue chip player.
Yeah. Well, not guaranteed, but
Not
I don't think
guaranteed.
You're guaranteed to have the option of getting that one of those guys. Like
Let's look at the draft.
Let's blue chip is supposed to
you're talking about like a franchise.
You're talking about early. That's blue chip. There's no
Yeah.
there are no 15 blue chip players here. Just maybe 3 or 4. But the reason why I asked that is because we've had a dilemma here. Now that CB is most likely off the board, there are a bunch of people there in that range where we're like, okay, we'd be good with this guy or this guy. So if you trade back from 10 to 14, 10 to 15, something like that, and you're still getting a guy in that same tier, you're the value from that is you're maximizing that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, 100%.
From 30, who knows? Maybe there is a drop off if you go from 30 back into the second round to accumulate more day 2 picks, but maybe there's a drop off from 30, more so from 10 to 15. So it's hard to say. I think from my gut, looking at it now, if I could get somewhere within the top 15 still, I would rather trade back there because I could also get more picks with that top 10 selection, because that's the value from the top 10, from the 10th pick. You're going to be able to really accumulate day 2 picks, day 3 picks, maybe even 2024 picks. So you can get a lot for that, but still be able to pick within the top 15 and get someone that you were still looking at number 10. Yeah. So again, but I know it all depends on who's available.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and it's hard to really say. But.
Yeah, it's subjective because obviously we don't know what the board looks like. And
one scenario you can hope is that, I'm just looking at, so the 10th pick overall in this year's draft is a value of 1,300.
Okay.
So 15 Green Bay is worth 1,050. So if you go based off of that, they got to give you 15 and they give you 78, which is their 3rd round pick, right? But if you have a team, and this is going to be fringy, right? So if Joey Porter Jr. is on the board at 10, Christian Gonzalez and Devin Witherspoon have already went. You get a team like Pittsburgh picking at 17.
That'd be a great.
Their pick is only worth 900.
Right.
So you get 17 and you get 49. And you keep 30.
I need it first.
It's only 400 points.
Oh, yeah.
I understand. That's a quality player. That's a top 10 pick right there. I'm sorry.
I hear you. That's the car salesman coming. But then you get 17, 30, 49. And then you got your own 2nd round pick.
Right.
Yeah.
So then you get
a lot. That's
you get
a lot
4
of
picks
assets,
in the first 60 picks, 65
that's
picks.
Enticing. That's very enticing. All your top 7 spots.
Well, John agrees with you, Pete. So there you go. I'd be all for it, but and then MBD makes a good point too. There's almost an assurity moving down, right? There's no picks in 4, 5, and 6.
You can get those back if you trade 30.
Howie's not going to sit on his hands.
You absolutely can. Tom says he wants a BPA or our guy at 10.
It's so funny, how much you two. It's funny how much you two disagree on a lot of things, but you two are literally holding hands on the whole Brian Branch thing.
Yeah.
It's absolutely hilarious. You two went back and forth all week about Darius Slay, and now you're holding hands.
And that's the joke. That's a joke.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
When Tom and I disagree so much on football, but if we agree on something, it's a lock. It's a lock. It's a lock, baby.
Yeah,
it's a lock. That's when you know we're onto something.
I think that's the biggest thing people aren't talking about is that they're like, oh, they don't get it right this year, it's over. I said, no, the next 2 years are the most important. They're going to determine the next 20 years of this franchise.
Yeah,
because you're going to have 18 to 20 possible draft picks, if not more,
next
to replenish everything that you need.
Yeah, you have a lot of assets.
Creekside's first comment said Trent Simpson, Micah Parsons 2.0.
Trent Simpson.
Ooh. Was he doing inappropriate things in the locker room?
As an Arkansas linebacker.
Oh my God.
Trent Simpson.
Don says,
hopefully he watches his back.
Captain America and Iron Man and Endgame.
Pretty much.
Let's switch it over. Let's talk big league now.
Both not in phase 4.
But before we do, Mr. OGP, who we got as our sponsor?
Allensy Travel, specializing in creating the vacation of your dreams at Disney, Universal, wherever your heart calls you. Let the talented team of travel experts create a custom vacation just for you. AllensyTravel.net.com. Google it. I mean, really, do we need web address? Who types in a direct web address anymore nowadays? I mean, honestly, when was the last time that's not already pre-saved in your shit?
Just send me the link. Yeah. Just send me the link.
Just send me the link. Creekside ENT is a Panthers fan. We appreciate you coming on.
Congrats on Miles.
Love it. So I think that's a good segue. Panthers, guys. We need to talk about it because it was so many draft implications. It happened last Friday, but we haven't talked about it yet. And with us being your number one show on HUD when it comes to the NFL draft, we want to cover everything that we can for you here. So, Panthers, they traded. Jake, can you look up the exact deal?
Yeah,
sorry, I'll mess it up. But Panthers trade with the Bears. They now have the number 1 overall pick. They traded a lot. And I think I love that this got done early. Not only because we now have more to talk about, but also because it kind of sets now these teams know where they're going to be.
Yep.
Now more teams
helps us
prepare. Helps us too. Yeah, absolutely.
Now it's guaranteed 4 quarterbacks are most likely going in the top 5 picks.
Let's tackle this because Creekside did comment in here. Let's tackle this from the Panthers' point of view first. Who are they taking, guys? Who are they taking?
They're taking.
Do you think the package of what they gave up to get said quarterback was worth it?
If they're safe, it's Stroud. If they just say,
and you got big balls, it's Anthony Richardson.
Yeah. If it's we're just going to do this and we're going to hope for the ceiling, it's Anthony Richardson.
Nobody can develop a quarterback quite like Reg.
That is true. I mean, look what he did with Carson.
There's a trade.
Now.
That DJ Moore thing just set it over the top for me, in my opinion.
Well, it was they were either trading DJ Moore or they were trading another first-round pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal trade.
Now Claypool can play a more natural role being number 2. You still got Darnell Mooney coming back, and you get number 1. I'm gonna tell you this: sneaky pick for the Bears at 9 is Bijan.
Oh my God.
Okay.
I think there's no excuses for the Bears this year.
I think they go O-line.
I don't want to hear anything from any Bears fan. If they don't make because he has weapons now. There's no excuses. They're probably going to give him some. They're going to draft some linemen for him. He has weapons. They're a better defense. No excuses. Yep. If they're not a playoff team this year, it's a failure.
I'm not going to say playoff team. They have to be
DJ Moore, Chase Claypool,
they have to be a winning. They have to get to 10, 11 wins. But you could get to 10 wins and not make the playoffs. Like it's happened before. So that's my point. Like I don't want to say playoffs. They have to be a winning team, a significant winning team, and they have to.
Oh, yeah, they definitely have to take a step forward. Now, would they win a division? I don't know, because guess what? The fucking Lions are good.
The Lions are good too. Yeah.
And the Vikings won 13 games last year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the teams I will say this: I don't know a team that was in the playoffs last year that got worse.
Yep. I think they finished third. That's my honest opinion.
Who? The Lions?
No, the Bears.
Oh.
Oh yeah. If the
Lions,
trade for
Lions, Vikings, Bears.
Okay.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, out of the teams in the NFC playoffs this past year, name a team who got worse through 3 days of free agency so far.
No.
I can't think of any.
I mean, arguably you could say us because we lost Hargraves.
Yeah, but
and TJ Edwards.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I mean, obviously San Fran, they gained. Our losses, their gain.
Right.
Yeah, but they lost a lot.
I mean, and the Vikings will definitely transition.
They are.
You know what I mean? But
so it's 2 additional, right? It's 2 additional, including the one year that he's already on. He already had another.
He was already going to be here for an additional year. It's just a 2-year deal.
Oh,
so in the literal sense, it's 3, but the extension's 2.
The extension because he has a 1 year. Yeah.
Right.
23, 24, and 25. But we'll probably.
It's really like
he'll play here for 2 years minimum, which means this year, and then next year is probably his last year.
There's no way he sees that third.
Jennifer's still here, man. That banana pudding, baby.
That's the winner.
I need that Super Bowl pudding, baby.
So Creekside is breaking some news. Bears just signed Deontay Foreman. God. So they're probably going O-line and
yeah, they have to go O-line. They've got the receivers. They have.
Yeah, like there's no excuses for the Bears this year.
They have to drop an O-line.
Ricky says, "Do we like the Greedy Williams signing?" Yes.
Love it.
Quarterback. Backup
versatility.
Not a safety.
He's a defensive back.
Yes. No, he's Maddox's insurance policy for when he misses 4 games.
Did I Toby serious, man?
But yeah, like so Creekside said that from the Panthers point of view, they're going to draft CJ Stroud. The Panthers are going to draft CJ Stroud. So I
never assume anything.
My gut reaction was Richardson just because of the Cam similarities, but I can absolutely see why they would pick Stroud because
so real quick, if I may, quick CJ Gardner-Johnson update. The Cincinnati Bengals have contacted the Philadelphia Eagles star safety C.J. Gardner-Johnson's representatives. According to league sources, there is no deal close to getting done for C.J. Gardner-Johnson for any team at this time.
Is it MJM?
League sources have speculated that C.J. could return to Philly on a 1-year incentive-laden deal because his market has not been as strong as he expected.
Is it MJM?
Correct.
Yeah, I love him. Nobody has built this brand up like he has in the last year, but
I mean that wouldn't shock me though.
60, he's like 60-40, so I don't.
Yeah, but him coming back on 1 year though, that wouldn't.
No, I could 100. Here's the thing: if you get him back on a cheap 1-year deal, that's major because that's more things that you can do to add to this team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
I think 2 years is the perfect thing.
If you can get him for 2 years, I'm fine.
So back to the topic at hand. So
yes.
Panthers like I thought it was going to be Richardson. I could see Stroud. If I were them, I still think Bryce Young should be the pick.
Really?
But he's too short.
I like Bryce Young more than I like CJ Stroud.
Yeah, he's a winner.
I also think that like with I know that Young has size concerns, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's short.
He's very skinny.
He's short and he's small. Like, but looking at their play styles, like I'm not saying Stroud he can't move at all. I'm not saying that, but creating second reaction plays is not his strong suit.
No.
And to me, that's such a big part of today's game that when you have someone like Bryce Young who can do both at such a high level, that for me, when I'm looking at the position, that means a lot. That means a lot more. Like,
God
What
damn
happened,
it.
Jake?
God damn it.
what happened? Oh my God!
Oh shit! I'm thinking about news, and it's Don being Don.
Bryce Young, same height as Gary Cole.
No, so Chuck, you make a very good point. I just heard something. I forget where I heard it at. A lot of times, especially in this day and age in football, we focus so much on what the player can do outside of the system, right? Outside of the system, off schedule. And then they said one of the reasons why the Panthers may be looking at CJ Stroud is because if you look at in system, in the scheme of the offense, he can do it all.
Yeah.
So I don't like we're starting to get away from the fact that like if you build it around him, how good can that be? And for him,
Gary Cole was 4'8".
you know what I mean? It's I don't know. I'm like you. If once again I said CJ Stroud is the safest pick.
Yeah.
Bryce Young, dude, like he's just fucking small.
He's small.
Yeah.
He's small. And I get that. So that's an outlier.
My March Madness bracket is over because of fucking Princeton, bitch. God.
I didn't do one. I don't do March Madness.
My grandfather is probably so happy today.
Yeah. But now, I think it should come down to between Stroud and Bryce because I think Richardson is too. For the Panthers, when you think about it, they can't afford to take that risk.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean?
All
Like,
that draft capital that they gave up.
It's too risky. You can't afford you need some floor there. So
Right.
I think it should be between Stroud. And so I would expect it to be Stroud.
I think it is Stroud.
Yeah, I think it is
And I
Stroud.
think
Just 'cause-
Richardson is the
just 'cause-
perfect landing spot at Indianapolis. Perfect.
Yeah, just because, like you said, Chucks, it's what do you call it? It's a safe pick. You have a good idea of what you're getting, but that's my only concern as far as Bryce Young goes. Like with a guy that small, he's going to get hurt.
Yeah,
that's my only big concern. But if again, I've said this a million times, if Anthony Richardson lands with the right team, the right organization, the right head coach, and he develops properly, he will be the best quarterback coming out of this draft.
Yeah,
plain and simple.
Yeah.
But again, it's all about the destination. It all depends on where it goes.
That matters so much. Creekside does ask, is Miles Sanders worth it or did Panthers overpay? I think the contract was perfect.
I think, it's a great deal.
It's a great deal. And you're getting someone who is going to be reunited with Deuce Staley. And I don't know if you guys saw, like last year, it was like last month. It was almost exactly a month ago when Deuce Staley got hired by the Panthers. Yep. And I tweeted out saying, early fantasy football advice is to trade or draft the Panthers running backs. And look who ended up on the Panthers. So Miles Sanders, I think he's going to do really well there. I think he's going
to be solid.
Yeah, he's going to do well. So to me, that's a really good signing. Yeah. People want to talk about Chuba Hubbard and stuff. I don't think Chuba Hubbard is anything special. No. Sanders blows. In terms of talent, Sanders is.
Of course.
Yeah, a lot better than Chuba.
Yeah, but when you look at Sanders' deal financially, it's great. Plain and simple, it's great. Because I think it was 25 for 4 years.
25 for 4 years. Yes.
Yeah. And
what was his guaranteed?
I think it was 16 or 18.
Okay.
16 or 18
so
guaranteed.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It's a really good deal. Yeah. Now, let's go to the other side. We talked a little bit about Chicago already, right? How they PY alluded to no excuses. They have receivers. I want to see them build the O line, and I do expect them to. But look at their free agency too, guys. We'll talk about the draft, and I think PY for some reason you thought they could have gotten more. I don't think so. If you compare it to other trades before, the Bears got a really good haul. So
they got a proven player, man.
Yeah. Proven player. DJ Moore being that is a huge key. Getting that wide receiver 1 for Fields
doesn't always work out, man. I'm just saying.
So I think I love the return that the Bears got for in that trade. I love that DJ Moore acquisition, but in free agency they've been doing moves. So they signed TJ Edwards. Okay. They've also signed Jake Edmonds. So they've got those two linebackers that's not bad. I mean, Tremaine Edmonds has been inconsistent, but if we can find consistency there, like that's a decent, solid linebacking duo. Who else? They just signed, like you said, Deontay Foreman, who's a good back, so he's good. And the other back they signed was Travis Homer from Seattle, so he's going to be in there passing down. So I mean, Chicago's building. They've had a good free agency as well, so they're building really, really well. I'm really impressed so far with Chicago. I think out of all the teams so far this offseason, they've had the best offseason so far.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't think they've had the best. I think they've had the splashiest.
I think I still stick by. I think they've had the best.
I think Miami's had the best, just in one move.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why? Because of Ramsey?
Just you have an offense, you have a defense to match that offense.
Yeah,
and
but you also have Jason Morgan at freaking quarterback. So,
hey, but still, I mean, you're counting on Tua to come back and somewhat stay healthy, but it's just it depends on what you're looking at. If you're looking at
I just want to know.
If you're looking at teams that are taking a leap forward from where they were at last year, then I can see why you could say so far Chicago. Just because they solidified a part of their team and they still have a QB on a rookie deal and they now have they have the opportunity to build around them. I can see that point. But if you're telling me teams that were fringe Super Bowl contenders last year versus now going into this next season, that team taking the next level or next step, I have to say Miami. We're talking 5 days into the offseason. You know what I mean?
I mean, I'm including everything though, even before free agency period this week. I'm talking like everything. Okay. Ryan, who else said it? Don said he thinks the Broncos did. So look at the Broncos signings.
Because they got Sean Payton,
they got Mike McGlinchey from the Niners.
Ben Powers.
Now, he's inconsistent, but they had a right tackle. They got Draymond Jones. No, sorry. He went to Seattle. Sorry.
No, so they have Mike McGlinchey, Ben Powers, Zach Allen. They just signed. Yep.
That was really good. Two inside the birds thought we were going to sign.
They signed Samaje P. Ryan from Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Who else did they sign? Yeah. So I mean, like their offseason has been solid too. Any other free agency signings you guys?
No, but I mean, Don said it. I hate to agree with him, but the Giants, low key, man. Yeah. They still don't have a number one wide receiver, but they
not yet.
I like the Waller and the Paris Campbell. They signed someone else.
I mean, they got.
Didn't they just re-sign Darius Slay too?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
They got two guys who historically are not healthy.
Yeah, that's
true. That's fair.
And his one season who stayed healthy for 1 year.
Yeah, no, that is absolutely fair. But how much?
Also, Daniel Jones is their quarterback.
That's the catch-22.
That's the big one, right?
Right.
That's the big question mark. I mean, yeah, people are making a big deal about their offseason so far. Like I said, I like the Waller move for them. I mean, even with the injury concerns, a third-round pick is like that's good because when he's on the field, he's one of the best tight ends in the league. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, Paris Campbell again. If he's on the field, Paris Campbell is a decent.
Exactly, yeah. John. No, exactly.
100%.
I disqualify the Giants just because of the Jones deal. Exactly.
100%.
Yeah, exactly. Who else? What other signings? Jimmy Garoppolo went to Vegas.
The Raiders.
Yeah, Javon Hargrave went to San Fran.
Loser.
So that D line is starting to get bulked up.
They signed a couple former Eagles.
Hargraves is a pussy.
Who else did they sign, Jake?
They signed, if you remember, T.Y. McGill. They signed him.
Man, they love our rejects.
There was one other one too. I forget.
Hargraves is a reject. Hats off to that man getting paid.
Yeah, good for him. He wasn't going to get paid here, but
I mean that defense is just going to be Jesus.
That defense is going because Who knows when Brock Purdy's coming back?
Who's their quarterback next year? Me?
They're only giving up 6 points a game.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, you don't know who's going to be scoring those points.
Just run the pistol with run the Wildcat with Christian McCaffrey and Debo.
There we go.
Now I will say them losing McGlinchey may hurt them.
Yeah,
I don't think
Defense.
so.
They lost a good chunk of their team.
McGlinchey was so inconsistent. I think they can reset that position, and they could.
Who do they have? Somebody that they can replace it with? Because remember, they don't have a pick until the third round.
that's an interesting question.
Well, they can get someone in the third round. You know what I mean? Like what I'm saying is like McGlinchey wasn't what he struggled. So like I don't think replacing him to get equal performance is going to be that difficult. You get what I'm saying? Like it's not going to be hard. You could get someone in the third round who's going to perform as good as if you can plug in. He could end up being as good as McGlinchey. Like that's how inconsistent he was. That's why I say like it's not going to be difficult to get someone. I think they can reset it. One signing that was puzzling to me. Andre Dillard to Tennessee. Like, I mean, that he doesn't fit that scheme.
They're in the process of change though. That's their scheme is in limbo. That's why Derrick Henry could be had.
I appreciate them trying to help me comp pick wise.
Though, what do you call it though? I think Dillard will be fine as their left tackle.
Okay, we'll get Derrick Henry for a 6th round pick. It's all good.
I'm not paying him that contract though.
I mean, Juju, TikTok boy, went to the Patriots.
I'm sure it's gonna be fun there.
That's gonna be a fun game.
That's gonna be
That's gonna be.
That's gonna be very interesting.
Yeah.
One move I hated to see was Jamal Williams to the Saints.
Yeah.
Mark Ingram replacement, bro.
Yep.
That sucks, yo.
So should I get the white Marcus Mariota jersey or should I get the black Marcus Mariota jersey?
Get the Kelly Green one. If you're really gonna put a stamp on it, get the Kelly Green one.
I think I might go black. I'm serious, by the way. I've wanted Marcus Mariota since 2016. I will buy that jersey with goddamn pride.
Yeah, my 2016 self will be losing.
My god! I actually I found because every day Facebook has a thing. It's like this is your memories, and it pulled up a tweet from 2015. They're just like Marcus Mariota will be an Eagle. I'm just like, oh my god!
I love this. I love.
The funniest thing about that is there are still guys that they wanted to trade him for that will be on this team.
That what do you call it though? That
Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham.
That Chip Kelly trade package though just haunts me. If that actually got
I was one of the ones who did not want.
I wanted to do it. I would have been like, for a franchise guy, there's no.
That's how I looked at it back then. I'm like, you know what? If he's the franchise guy, screw it. Whatever.
I didn't want it.
Thank God we didn't.
We'll never know. Yeah, we'll never know.
And remember, they fired their general manager because they said no to it. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
Don says goodbye to Jamal Williams. All David Montgomery. I mean, I hate to.
That's a subtraction.
Be a party pooper, but like. I'm not as high on David Montgomery as a lot of people.
He's good.
I think he
serviceable.
Yeah. I think people like him because he's fun to watch because he's got great contact balance. So he'll break a lot of tackles, but he has bad footwork and like he dances around too much. He doesn't have great.
He doesn't have a good name. I'm sorry.
So yeah.
And the thing is
it's a solid signing, though. It's a solid signing.
And the underrated thing,
I'd rather have Jamal Williams, to be honest.
Yeah. and the thing that's not being talked about either, and I don't know David Montgomery's personality at all, but like a guy like Jamal Williams, that personality you can't replace.
Yeah. No, I mean that's why I'm shocked by Don. Like like if you DM Jamal Williams,
love Jamal
watch
Williams.
Anime all day.
I love Jamal.
Like, there's a chance he's showing up on your doorstep.
Oh, 100%.
I'm gonna DM tomorrow. I was like, "Yo, bro, you wanna come over? Let's watch anime, dude."
Him on the pivot was probably the best thing ever.
That was awesome. Yeah.
Oh, it was great.
Great. I love that him and Aaron Jones are
17.
They're very close. Yep.
Yeah, that was really good. Trying to think if there's anything else we missed before. I mean, anything else you guys can think of?
No, it's just Aaron Rodgers is the most self-centered quarterback.
Oh yeah, we've come full circle.
I'm so I've already predicted he's never going to play for the Jets. I'm already thinking this right now. He's holding them hostage. He's trying to get everything and anything he wants. And then at the end of the day, when they're going to get ready to trade for him, he's just going to be like, screw it and retire.
That'd actually be hilarious. That'd be the most Jets thing ever.
Well, the fact that they're wasting their time for a 40-year-old conspiracy theorist who had one of his worst years last year.
I'm all for it.
Instead of Lamar Jackson, you know what? You deserve everything you get, Jets fans.
Yeah, I honestly just don't know why you don't want to give the two picks to the Ravens.
Baltimore, yeah.
Like you have a 26-year-old franchise quarterback with what? With everything they have on offense, like.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's funny as shit. So.
Oh yeah, I think it's
I think
hilarious.
it's funny as shit.
And
they need Greg Jennings and they need
Jordy Nelson.
Just wait. The Vikings are next, guys. After the Jets, going to the Vikings.
Well, and I feel bad too because I'm a big fan of Rich Eisen and I love his show. He's going to be so disappointed. I just know it's coming.
So I have to ask. So Brett Favre became a huge scumbag. Aaron Rodgers became a huge scumbag. I want to know I'm ready for this Jordan Love heel turn, man.
It's all in the dairy in Wisconsin.
It's going to take me 12 years. It's going to take us 12 years to get to that point, but I'm ready.
I mean, if he becomes like a franchise quarterback, I mean,
how can you not think that?
He was sitting for a long time, so he's learned a lot.
Right.
So we'll see.
And Aaron sat for what, 3-4 years, right?
Yep.
Something
3 years, I think.
Yeah. So
2 years. So
remember, they were going to trade him for Randy Moss.
Right.
Yeah.
I think
the Raiders
doubling. We'll talk linebackers soon.
Yeah. We have so to those who are listening,
because we don't draft linebackers.
Your number one show on A2D for everything NFL draft. We have in the upcoming weeks a great lineup of shows for you. Topics covering the draft. We're going to go through our schedule. Give me 1 second. So next week, we're going to start discussing quarterbacks, the quarterback prospects. So it'll mostly be the 4 guys. So you're talking about Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson, and Will Levis. We'll cover how we rank, each of us ranks them and what we think about them. Maybe some ideal spots where we would like to see them go. So we'll be talking quarterbacks next week. The week after, we'll be doing wide receivers and tight ends. Do the same thing, doing rankings, profiles. The week after, which is April 6th, we'll be doing running backs. There'll be pretty much me talking for 2 hours. April 13th, we will be doing defensive prospects. So everything on defense we'll cover April 13th. And then April 20th will be our show where we talk about our favorite Eagles targets. We'll list off our guys. Each of us will make a list of our guys in this draft class. And we will do a birds of a feather mock draft on that show. So that's April 20th, a week before the actual draft. So that is our schedule. From here on out, it's NFL draft, guys. So again, your number one spot on A2D Radio to go and talk some NFL draft. So definitely, come back. Let's wrap this show, guys. Let's wrap this show up, guys. Let's go to No Huddle. What do you guys got this week? Anything you guys want to shoot out? Go on.
Pause, please. Pause. Anything you want to shoot out?
I didn't even realize.
Dirty boy. Pete Young needs to go wild.
Well, that's a good topic, Martian. He says thoughts on Edwin Diaz getting hurt, celebrating. That's a tough one, man.
The Mets,
that's a tough one. I mean, it's for your country, so I mean,
right.
He sounds like you sound like the dude from Grease too. We're gonna do it for our country.
I'm not saying you got to do it, but I can see how you definitely can get lost.
Yeah.
R.I.P. to all my Dominican brothers
Nah,
and
but,
sisters who they went down early yesterday.
Yes, they did.
I got three
I don't know
Dominican.
what
I got
round
three
it's in.
Dominican coworkers. So I'm just like, what happened, guys? Like, well, we played Puerto Rico. I said, and
Yeah,
I said, you the DR, baby.
stupid.
Yeah.
Only thing I'll say is, man, 76ers, bro.
Yo,
5, 6, 7, 8, man. Yeah.
Matt, can you imagine if they just
It is
go
a tough topic for Jake.
I know. It's just,
He'll go on the run just to hurt me. I just know it.
That's what I'm waiting
just
for.
like you
They'll
prepping
go on a
yourself
run.
to get the balloon pop.
You know what'll happen? They'll go they'll go up 3-1 or something, 3-2 in like the Eastern Conference Championship.
Just blow it.
They have to get there first, Pete. That's the whole problem.
But that exactly what it'd be in. They would finally get there, and it would be as close as humanly possible. And you'll get like another Kawhi shot that keeps them from the NBA Finals. And I'll just.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. They're playing great. They're playing really well.
But it's not.
But I just.
May.
Yeah, exactly. Let me know once the postseason starts and.
Yeah, that's essentially it, right?
Yeah, let me know once.
Yes. Thankfully, that boring white draft is not going to be the MVP.
Well, don't count your chickens before they hatch.
He's played like garbage the last 5 games.
He has.
It's almost like he's overrated to his degree.
The NBA likes him. I don't know why.
The great white fraud.
The great white fraud.
I don't know.
Great white croak.
I like fraud better.
Oh, I will say we hardly talk about this, but I saw this today. Yeah, it was today. We posted about it. But I know not a lot of you follow hockey. I'm kind of hoping because there's a rumor that David Boreanaz was meeting with who was it? Chemo team.
Is he going to buy the Flyers?
Potentially, that's the rumor.
Yeah,
now that's assumed. That's a rumor and it's assumed. So, like, I don't want to get my hopes up.
Is his money that long?
So,
no,
Dave, are you talking about Angel?
Yeah.
I'll bring up the thing now. He was with.
Maybe if he combines his money with his dad, because I know his dad was a really big news guy.
No, he was with hold on.
He was with Peter Forsberg, and then Sixers part owner David Edelman, and then obviously Chemo Timonen.
Yeah, so you got money there.
Yeah, you got some money in there, and David Boreanaz did post something like, "Coming for you, Flyers and NHL with passion and love for the city of Philadelphia. Fans deserve better."
Mm-hmm.
Take it as you want.
Not being jealous could make me care about the Flyers.
So, can I just finish? So, all of us Flyers fans, like, we're in misery right now. I don't talk about them because this is like the lowest I've ever been as a Flyers fan.
Yeah,
like, I don't talk about it because like this is just there's nothing to get my hopes up. They even put Carter Hart on the training block. Like, we finally found a good goalie prospect, and we're gonna look into trading him. Like, it's so bad.
Man.
It's
I'd
so
rather
bad.
watch soccer.
But I'm going to pray. I'm going to hope that somewhere, somehow, the organization will be sold.
Hopefully.
Let's hope and pray. Yeah, that's all I got to contribute. So I'm hoping and praying. Plus, I also love seeing Chemo and Forsberg. You know, former
together.
Yeah, there's Daniel Bakley says Chemo Forsberg and Devils owner / Sixers owner. Yeah, Forsberg looked great actually. He doesn't look like he's aged much. He got the gray hair, but Chemo looks good too.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. So, anything else, guys?
No, I think that's it.
Gucci.
All right. Well, awesome show. Hour 45 minutes. We had so much to cover. To everyone else that's listening in, thank you so much for tuning in to our show. Like I said, upcoming weeks, we got so much draft talk because we are the #1 show on A2D Radio to get draft coverage. So I hope you come back with us, stay with us. I wanted to say to all the other guys, the fact that all of you were willing to point out my Jalen Reagor reaction, and for some reason you're still coming back to listen to us. I don't know why. I do not know why, but I greatly appreciate that because that was so bad. So like, I appreciate you coming back and listening to anything I have to say about that. So thank you. But in all seriousness, thank you for your support. Thank you for all your support through all of our shows. Everyone here at HUDDLE Radio, Bozio's Bread, our main show sponsor. Make sure you hit them up. Get 10% off your order by mentioning HUDDLE Radio. For myself, for Mr. OG Pete, for Jake, and for PY. Thank you. We love you. We will see you next week. And hopefully next week, guys, we'll be talking about Chauncey Gardner-Johnson coming back.
Please, Jesus.
We'll see. All right, guys.
Peace.
Peace out.
Later, guys.